By the time I was 28, remember, I had 8 autoimmune diseases. These didn't just happen to me. And here's my story. So, as a young girl, I remember comparing, and this is my story, but as women, as you're watching this, think about your experience as a young girl and think about yourself as I'm sharing my story. That I compared myself from the youngest age I can remember always to other girls, starting when I started school in elementary school. You know, how do I measure up to that prettiest girl in school, that most popular girl in school? I would look at myself. I would look at the girl magazines, Cosmopolitan or Cosmo Girl that I used to get. Those are the ones that I remember. Look at those models, look at those photo shoots, look at those movie stars that I looked up to. Women like Julia Roberts, Jennifer Aniston, the Olsen twins, Lindsay Lohan. And then I would look at myself, and all I would do is compare. I would criticize myself always. They've got this, I don't have that. I wish I looked like that. I wish looking in the mirror, wishing that my forehead was smaller, that my nose was smaller, that I had blonde hair and not brown hair, that I had tan skin. I did so much then in my early adolescence as I moved into middle school to try to change the way that I looked because I didn't like who I was compared to these idealized people out there, whether that was the pretty girl at school or whether it was Jennifer Aniston on Friends, right? So I went on a quest to change myself and how I looked. I got new makeup. I tried highlights in my hair. I got different clothes. I tried lightening my hair, which, as people with brown hair know, doesn't work. My hair just turned orange. But I tried to be someone else. I tried to be someone that I was not. I tried to be what I thought was better. And this comparison that I was always doing with other women, it caused me to feel really, really bad about myself, to really beat myself up. I mean, we know a self-value level and a confidence level at below 0. I constantly was anxious. I would pick my hair, just looking down. I struggled to even look people in the eye sometimes as I moved into adolescence. And this was exacerbated as I moved into high school, which again, now I'm moving into that adolescent girl that is at that highest risk for autoimmune diseases. Because what's happening there? Yeah, I went through puberty. I gained weight. I got acne. My kind of straight hair became kind of curly. And I went into high school, started comparing myself to the most beautiful girls in our school. I went to a high school here in Colorado that's known for the prettiest girls, with the best outfits and the nicest cars. And I was just kind of maybe a little above average. I wasn't rail thin. I didn't have blonde hair, and I really wasn't that popular. I didn't have it together like some of these other girls, and all I wanted to do was be them. All I wanted to do was be someone else. And what I really did is, as I wanted to be them, my hatred of myself just grew and built. I still remember how much I hated myself at 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. If you had a line of 100 people and I was one of them, I would have never picked myself. Never picked myself. I always wanted to be somebody else. And so what happened to me is after I graduated high school, it coincided with the rise of social media. And I saw, as I went to a smaller college, an opportunity to reinvent myself through the pictures that I could present on social media. I thought, here's my chance to be like those girls in my high school and out there in the world that I aspired to be. So what did I do? I developed an eating disorder. I went from about 135 pounds to 105 pounds in just a few months. I tanned. You guys can see I'm a pale person. I became very tan. I whitened my teeth. I straightened my hair. I worked out every day, and I spent all of my money on clothes. I created a new me, and I threw the old one out. And I kept doing this. I kept at it for about 10 years, everyone. 10 years. I kept up this fake me. So all through my college years and beyond, it was the fake me that I presented on Facebook. And I ended up having about 5,000 pictures by the end, by about 2013 or so, of this fake me with my wonderful life and my aspirational body. And I spent all my time making sure I had these perfect pictures of me in swimming pools and laughing on the beach, going to parties with friends, dancing at clubs and on tables and eating, food and having a little coffee in foreign cafes and going to exotic destinations. I'd always take pictures of the incredible hikes that I went on and made sure that I was always smiling. I was always laughing. Everyone thought that I had the perfect life. It was the fake me. Other women told me they were intimidated by me. I got much more attention from men on social media. And again, it was all a fake persona that I created. It was a fake me. And it never was enough. It never was enough. There was always someone else that I saw on social media or out in my life that I thought was better, that was more beautiful, that had a better life. And I was never happy. I felt awful and miserable, probably even worse than I did in high school. And I became trapped. I became trapped in this fake persona of social media persona that I had created. But this was all what I showed people behind the scenes. It was a dark place. Behind the scenes, it was a different story than I presented out there. Behind the scenes, I was racking up about 1 to 2 autoimmune diseases every year. I had severe anxiety. I had severe depression and a very severe eating disorder. Through those years of my late adolescence into early young adulthood, I became allergic to most foods. By the time I was 28, I could only eat about 3-4 different foods. I was chronically sick all the time. I could barely hold down a job. And off camera, I was a complete mess. My world was closing in, right? So can we see here, I know this from my experience, how bad I felt about myself as a young girl, and then the persona that I had to keep created and then upkeep that was completely false on social media created such immense emotional turmoil storm inside me. It's not a coincidence that I can start to develop many and very severe autoimmune diseases. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. If you have an autoimmune disease or chronic illness, are frustrated with medications, supplements, or food diets, and are ready to start the journey to finally and permanently healing your condition, I have 2 13-week online self-guided educational programs, the Autoimmune Healing Program and the Chronic Illness Healing Program. Both programs teach you how to permanently heal your autoimmune disease or chronic illness, leave behind those doctor's visits and symptom management, and to finally heal without supplements, medication, or food diets. This is the same journey I took and why I am over 10 years completely healthy. All 8 of my autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses are permanently gone. You can find the link to apply for a complimentary course consultation with me down in the description below. And if you're not ready to take this step, watch my free 101 course on autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses. You'll also find the link to watch this down in the description. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. I look forward to you permanently healing your autoimmune disease or chronic illness.